Setting up. It's doing it. It's doing it.
Yes. Okay.
Shit. Okay. Setting up. We are live. We
We're
are live.
live. Welcome to the Broken Pentacle podcast, live edition, obviously. This is a space for witches who walk their path beneath upside down
It's doing it. It's
skies,
doing
where the
it.
stars tell different stories and the magic has teeth. We're your hosts, Owlvine and Avalon, two witches who have crafted magic beneath southern skies for decades. And today, you guys, we are here for Beltane, for all the things, really. Today is
Yes.
Halloween in Australia. Tomorrow is the traditional date of Beltane, but Beltane's
Yes.
really another week away, and all of the Northern Hemisphere witches are celebrating Samhain. So happy all the things.
Excellent. Excellent. It is a great vibe today. So we are going to be talking the Great Sabbath, the Great Cross Quarter, the veil being thin on both sides of the hemisphere, because I believe that there are still many here in the Southern Hemisphere that forget that the veil is actually quite thin during the time of Beltane. It's like a seesaw, right?
Mhm.
You got to think of it as a seesaw. So it's still very thin. The vibes are just very different on both sides of the hemisphere. We are coming into full bloom. If you can hear that in the background, it's my washing machine. Just
We can't
saying.
hear anything. It's all good.
Excellent. Because everything is rattling really loudly right now. So let's get into it, folks. Let's get into it. Alvine, I believe you have some Beltane goodies for us. So shall we just get into some Beltane goodies?
Absolutely. Well, first, I wanted to ask where everyone's tuning in from. So, if anyone is hanging out there, let us know if you're in the north or the south. Okay. We've got a southern hemisphere. Rockin' Robin's already here. Love that. So, you guys, Beltane. So, we're absolutely on this. I like to think of it as an axis like AXIS, axis of energy at any time. And I think this is something that's actually really special about being a Southern Hemisphere witch. You know, it can be a little lonely sometimes when we're looking at all of the witches in the Northern Hemisphere and everything that's going on for them, right? That's where most of the witches live. And it can feel quite lonely down here. But I think we have a unique opportunity to tune into that axis of energy, right? And be aware of it in a way that our northern hemisphere brothers and sisters probably don't even consider, right? So that's something that's really cool. So the veil is absolutely thin right now, north or south. So this is a great time for any of your divinations, connecting with spirit on any level. Obviously, in the northern hemisphere, it's mostly about ancestors. In the southern hemisphere, it's a lot about land spirits, right? The spirits of the land. I am burning a ton of incense right now. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm like with the
Ooh.
windows and the doors open and the fresh air and all of the incense. It's so beautiful. I've actually got like 4 or 5 different incenses right behind me that I'm going to be burning throughout today's live stream. But I wanted to share a little Beltane incense recipe with you guys. If you wanted to create your own blend, you can obviously burn stick incense, cone incense. That's amazing. But the real potent incense blends are the ones that you craft, I think, yourself personally.
A hundred
So
percent.
absolutely, you can weave all of that power and that energy in there. So, if you'd like to make your own Beltane blend, here is inspiration for you. The very first thing I would say is look at all of the blooms that are around you. What is naturally in your space right now? What colors, what flowers, what textures, whatever. Bring all that into your incense, right? Now, apple, pine, oak, and calendula are all amazing to add to your blend as well. These have various properties: protection, healing, money, fertility, luck, all of these things, psychic protection, psychic power, right? Also, rose, and I like to add rose oil into mine as well. A little bit of willow oil, only because I don't have actual willow and I have willow oil. Very strange. Willow is amazing for those same things: love, protection, healing. All of these botanicals are associated with Beltane itself as well. I also like to add a dried mushroom into my Beltane recipe. And this is like the fairy ring vibe, right? And all of this, of course, is in a bed of frankincense for me. So purification, protection, and high vibe because it's Beltane. Now, I'm wondering, you guys, if anyone here has ever maypoled. Um, have you ever done a maypole on Beltane? Have you done one, Avalon?
Never,
Right.
never.
So I've had the opportunity once to do one in a gathering, and it is probably about as much fun as you can possibly imagine. It was my most favorite Beltane that I've ever attended, to actually be there in a space with other witches. And we had this big old pole, up, and everyone got their own ribbon, and we upped and down and created this gorgeous mess. It was so much fun. So if you ever get the chance to join in a traditional maypole ceremony, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, I would highly recommend it. I've actually also done my own before. So like a little solo maypole where I had a cauldron that I stuffed with a bunch of rocks and dirt. And then I created a little maypole in the middle with little ribbons and like had my own little ritual ceremony. That was really fun.
That's nice. That's actually really nice.
It was so cute.
There have been some banger Beltanes and some banger Samhains as well, but I think like back in the day when I lived up north, we used to host epically large gatherings, like massive, massive gatherings in public places and, parks mostly. And nobody interrupted us, nobody bothered us really. But it was very much a fire festival at a time where you can't have fire because fire bans. So we would go out of our way. Like if you could have a fire during Beltane, it was as close to God as you would get, that kind of vibe. But at the end of the day, I think fire is an absolute essential for Beltane. And it is very difficult here in Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, in Australia specifically, not all of Southern Hemisphere, but we are here in Tasmania in fire bans right now. And so navigating that can be a little bit challenging as well. So candles can be a wonderful substitute for massive bonfires. Not the same vibe, but the same element is present. You can have container fires as well. I have an 8-liter cauldron that I can set a fire in. I have contained fires on my property. I have a little fire and then I have a big bonfire. It's not the time for a big bonfire on my property because it is fire bans, but I can have a contained fire. And so it's about kind of looking at ways in which you can include fire in the experience. You can actually flood your whole house with candles and just have this epic fire presence be available. Like I'm not at my home at the moment, but I have 3 candles going, which is as good as I can get it here. Owlvine has about 5 going in her place. And so, are you muted, Owlvine?
I don't think so. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
okay. You're just being very quiet.
Respectfully quiet. I agree with that. Let's talk about some of our plans for Beltane. So Beltane is tomorrow, right? But the actual date this year, the astrological date, is on the 8th of November. I love this. This has worked so perfectly for me because I'm actually home alone at the moment. And what I love is that my lover arrives home to me on the 8th of November. How perfect is that? I was like, oh no, this is gonna be my first Beltane alone. And then I was like, no. So I'm actually planning almost like a gateway experience. For me, Beltane, even though I'm already feeling the energy, Beltane is the traditional date tomorrow. So I'm taking that as like my opening window, and all week long, it's going to be Beltane awesomeness. So
Oh, I love it.
let me tell you some of my plans that I've got. So some of these are traditional and some of these are just me. So the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning is I'm going to go out and collect some morning dew. So I do this every year, and this is a traditional method, I don't know, technique, piece of magic, I suppose, that women would do. Women would go out and collect some morning dew and wash their faces with it, right? And it was supposed to bring beauty. So this is something that I've done for the last few years. And it's actually going to be raining here tomorrow morning. So I'm going to collect a bunch of rainwater. I think that's actually going to be really cool. It's going to be Beltane rainwater. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be bringing in blooms, right? Bringing the blooms indoors. There's so much blooming right now. The colors, the riot of color is just amazing. So I've actually got my eye on a very specific flower that I'm going to steal from my neighbor's front yard.
Ooh.
Now, she would allow me. She doesn't live there anymore. She's a very old lady. She's been moved into a nursing home now, but I'm like, I'm going to get out there early in the morning before the sun rises and I'm going to be cutting my flower. So she has these flowers called King Protea. I just learned about this morning because they bloom all around my area, but I never knew what they were. Let me quickly show you a picture. These are South African. Oh, can you
Oh
kind
my
of?
gosh.
That's just the head of the flower, right? So these are about the size of my head. So the plant itself is 1.5 to 2 meters tall, South African, and it's actually one of the oldest plants in the world. They reckon it's about 300 million years old. So, so cool, right? So I'm going to be bringing some of those onto my belt, at least one of them. I probably won't steal more than one because, like I said, they are very big. So I'm going to get one of those as the centerpiece of my Beltane altar. The
Sounds
lights, right?
amazing.
The candles. All of the candles are going to be burning throughout the house tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm really feeling like a yellow vibe. I want to get my yellow candle on. But Beltane, I think, or the traditional colors are also red, orange, and of course, green, right? The world around us right now, depending on where you are, but for most of us, is just like lush emerald green. It's gorgeous. But pink, of course, is, a color that I really associate with Beltane as well. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna
Really?
have, I do, yeah, because of that heart center, that love, I mean, it's a little bit softer maybe, but for me, the way I feel about this time of season, I feel like we're only just exiting the dark, right? I really feel
Hmm.
like that. And especially with the way the weather's been this year. It really
Yeah,
depends on
that's
the
fair.
year,
That's fair.
but this year. So it feels still newer. Like it doesn't feel like Beltane and summer's here, even though it's going to be 30 degrees on Sunday.
Yeah, 27 here. 27, 25, 25 or 27. I don't know. It's weird
So
weather.
that day will feel like summer, right? That will be like a Beltane day. So
Noise. Noise.
what else? Incense I'll be burning. And in terms of the magic I'm doing, love magic for myself and for my partner and for us as well. Also, what I'm really working on right now is passion ignition. I feel like I have lost my passion in many areas of life, or I'm just, I've been setting it aside. So I want to be ignited. I want to be motivated, moving towards, passionate, awake, open to, all of this. So that's what I'm really working on at the moment. I think I'm going to watch also The Love Witch. That's going to be my little evening thing. So that'll be fun. Now, what are your Beltane plans?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So for the actual day of Beltane, so I have a property at large, right? So I have a lot of like grooming said property because I haven't been on there for almost a month and the grass is long and the snakes are feral right now. So I'm getting a working bee. I'm going to have to call in a friend for this one because it's out of control. But once that's cleared, I want to contact my local fire department and see if I can have a last bonfire on my property because I just want to. I want to jump over the fire, first and foremost. I have activated love, passion, and sexuality magic all around me right now. Fun fact, I'm celibate, okay? And this is a path that I took after I read a book. I think one of our episodes we talked about Kelly Brogan and the Reclaimed Woman.
Mhm.
Yeah, so one thing that I noticed, this is not going to help anyone who's in a relationship, but one thing that I noticed is by completely like tying a bow on that sexual outlet of mine, I have been able to divert that energy into other areas of my life, and the growth from those areas has been threefold. So I've just managed to work that energy in whichever way it works best. I never thought that I would be the person that entered a a little celibacy pact, but my God, I am there and I like it. And
That's awesome.
my beautiful bestie, Gordon White, he and I talk about this a lot because he was trying to do it as well. And I said, I'm going to do it. I was healing anyway. I was coming out of a yucky relationship. So this has been the best way to kind of return focus on just myself. I don't find myself chasing validation. I don't find myself living for the outside gaze. I don't find myself doing any of that sort of stuff. So this is very much self-focused love and passion work within myself. And I think that that is some of the best way to use love magic full stop. But because Beltane is a fertility festival, right? Sex is almost a prerequisite of this festival. And so I have decided that I'm going to go out and have some sex. That's what I'm going to do.
Woo! Yeah, Beltane, baby.
Mm.
Love it.
Mm. Well, it's been a minute, so.
That's so exciting. I love that you shared that too, for anyone who is in a similar situation. The creative power, this is what I've heard from everybody. The creative power of celibacy, like doing it consciously, is insane for men and women. So
100%.
mm,
100%. Honestly, 100%. But honestly, it took me a minute. I'm Brazilian. I run hot. So, uh, to help me reframe it, sometimes I just need an educated person to shape it in a way that makes it make sense to me.
mhm.
And so, if you're at all in a position where you'd like to explore sacred celibacy, read The Reclaimed Woman by Kelly Brogan. It is going to affect you intellectually in the best way possible.
Mm.
So, lots of candle, lots of love magic. I'm working very closely with Rose at the moment, and I found, oh my gosh, I found like a blue moon rose, which is like a pale lavender rose growing. I have them on my in my magical workings right now, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, I don't know how I've ever lived without these roses. I feel like I need them in my life. So I've been looking at ways in which I can do a really good, cool little fertility thing with plants, and that is propagate roses from cuttings.
Hmm.
So the yellow climbing vine rose, the little miniature roses that I told you about the other day, I'm going to take a cutting from that. I'm going to take, oh,
I found my own a few weeks ago too. We're
I love
plant nerds over here.
it. Yes, we spend our days wandering the neighborhoods, taking photos and looking up the plants. Because why not use what's in your biosphere? I think it's
100%.
stronger magic
Yes.
anyway.
Hmm.
I'm not opposed to drying. I'm not opposed to buying herbs at all. But there's something quite fertile, quite in my culture, we have this saying, it's filled with ashe. So like vital life, magic, force, call it what you will. So you could look at it as chi, you could look at it as prana, you could look at it as life force, energy. You could look at it as all of that.
Hmm.
Mm. Oh my gosh. All right, let's talk a bit about Beltane because I've got notes.
Yes, please.
So this is going to be a little redundant for those who know, but just in case you stumble upon this live stream later on and you don't know, Beltane derives from an ancient Celtic festival of Gaelic Celtic origins. The name is loosely translated into meaning bright fire or fires of Bel. Bel is thought to refer to a Celtic sun god Belius, making this a festival dedicated to the return of the sun's full strength and life-giving power. So we're welcoming the sun from this point onwards, right? And that makes sense because that's that pivot point. So traditionally, two large bonfires were lit at Beltane, and cattle, the symbol for wealth, was passed through these fires, was led between these fires as a form of purification for the new cycle. So Beltane is a time of union between the maiden goddess and the young green man. So if you didn't know, the green man is is the maiden version of the sacred masculine, right? And so their union was seen as a source of life and creativity in the world. Here's where you get the great rite, okay? Maypole is a traditional symbol and practice at this time. However, such practices did not make its way to Australia. So to have it is very Reconstructionist. So keep that in mind. Hawthorn is sacred to Beltane and was brought indoors for protection and luck. So the sacred hawthorn was a tree of the Druids. Other key plants are primrose, rowan, yellow flowers like gauze, which mirrored the sun's energy. Now, page over. In modern paganism, particularly in Wicca and other neo-pagan traditions, Beltane was seen as a vibrant revival. So it's got that energy of revival, which can be seen in nature anyway. If you're in spring, it's hard not to see what's going on in the natural world. So it is seen as a celebration of life, passion, creative inspiration, as well as romantic passion. So this is a great time to do love magic, sex magic, self-love, glamour, beauty kind of magic as well. So a fire festival, it remains a time of bonfires, candle magic, and celebrating the power of the sun. So every time you light a candle, it is like invoking the energy of a small sun. So have that in the back of your mind when you do it. This is also a time of manifestation. So the energy of Beltane is projective and active. It's considered a great time for spells related to growth, passion, love, creativity, and bringing all projects to fruition. So this is a great time to like inject energy into a creative idea. If you've thought about starting a business or having a career change or launching a product or doing something like that, this is that energy to do so. So connecting with Beltane in Australia. So connect with fire responsibly, as I've previously stated, but fire should be present. And I say should very deliberately here. There is no substitute for this. There is no rock that you can use, plant that you can use, mental imagery that you could use, photo that you can use. You need fire present for this. This is not a time to trim the fat. Fire must be present in some capacity. Even if you strike a match and blow it out, it has to be there. Fire is essential. Every fire that you light should really be dedicated to that Beltane energy and connects itself naturally. Every fire that you light on the time of Beltane, on the cross quarter, is connected to passion, creativity, and sex magic. Whether you choose to program and dedicate your candles or not, the collective energy, the ancient energy, along with the collective energy, will align that flame to that purpose, whether you realize it or not. It's a potent time to light a candle. So for people with birthdays, love that for you. So you can honor some native flora here in Australia instead of the hawthorn, which is not, it's not typical to Australia. You can find hawthorn in Australia. There's plenty of it here in Tasmania, but it's nice to try working with banksias, with wattle, with grevilleas, and with eucalypts as well. One of the practices that I always do at Beltane, whether it be a candle, a cauldron, or a fire, is I jump over the fire. I have to. I have had many an accident doing so because I am a clumsy as fuck. You would not believe the types of issues that I've had in the past. But you know what? Stay safe and have a spotter and maybe a bucket of water.
And that's the cleanse, right? So you jump over the fire.
That's the cleanse, yeah. So you can actually have a small fire going and throw some purification herbs onto that fire. So as the smoke wafts up, you jump over it and you've got your nice little cleansing. It's very symbolic. It's very active. It's kind of like a doing active experience. Now, I've got another one for you and I'm almost done here so we can launch into some other conversations. But seeing as the maypole is very symbolic of Beltane, and we don't do the maypole here in Australia, there is an adaptive spell that you can do, which is a knot for unity and creativity. So you can create knot magic, much like I have wrapped around my wrist here, for you could have it for relationships, for love, for creativity, whatever you want. You can tie those knots in a way that connects itself to the energy of the weaving maypole as well. So use plenty of strings, try to create if you're going for a more unity-led kind of a knot, then be deliberate with the types of colors that you use. So green for prosperity, orange for creativity, red for love, blue for peace, and just weave it all. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it does not need to be amazing looking, but just weave, 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 and knot. Weave, 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 and knot. Weave, 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 and knot. You don't have to tie it on yourself. You can just leave it around a candle. You could leave it on your altar, but it creates that nice energy of the maypole in a more adaptive modern spell. Likewise, you can get yourself some wattle. I would do eucalyptus rather than wattle because I'm all wattled out right now. If you know, you
We've
know.
done a lot of waddle.
But eucalypts are aplenty. So a nice little charm is to take a cutting and walk around the boundary of your home. If you live in an apartment, work specifically with the front door. Then place the cutting above the door in the home. So the natural energies and the protective qualities, you welcome them around your space and you state it. You hold it as a protective guardian type spirit, and you walk the boundary of your property or your front door, and then keep it just above the door of your home.
I love that.
That's all I've got.
What a
They're my
beautiful piece of magic.
tips.
I've got a few other magical suggestions for you guys. So,
Oh,
of
I like
course, this time of year, what I feel like doing is a big spring clean. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. As I said, my husband and my son are away at the moment, so I got the place to myself. So doubly, obviously, using this time, clearing things out, cleansing, consecrating, like blessing the home, bringing in all of that beautiful
Mhm.
energy, right? While no one's here. The windows and doors are all opening. I am so huge on fresh air. I just love it. And there is well, I was going to say there's nothing more cleansing than, let's say there's nothing more pairing this, having fresh air come through your home. Like, oh, I love that. And the air right now is so fragrant as well. I just smelled before because it's quite humid here today, but also rainy. So there's like, you know how that awakens some plants? Oh, anyway, I'm just smelling all the delicious things. So I love doing this, opening up the house. Now, another thing you can do is, this is a way that I like to bless the home, I suppose. And this is the perfect time of year for it. But blowing in some kind of attraction powder into your home, right? To bring in whatever blessings, whatever things that you're wanting to draw into your home. So I really like just mixing cinnamon and sugar, as long as you don't have issues with ants, right? I have issues with ants later on in the season, so I don't use sugar then, but for now it's okay. Obviously, just dressing the house with oils, right? All of the oils, blessing, prosperity, love, all the things. Flower magic. Flower magic is huge. So this is learning about identifying the things that are around you and using them in your magic. Now, you
Mhm.
don't have to know what a thing is to use it in your magic, but I think we have a lot of great tools this day that actually help us to figure out what things are. Like I sat on Chat GPT earlier it probably took me actually 10 minutes. It's the longest one it's ever taken me to find the king protea, what the hell that was called. But I'm just telling this is the description. Like, and then I'm like, no, you're wrong. I think it's more like this, whatever. Like we have all this ability to actually find what things are. And when we know their names and when we know their properties, they just become even more powerful allies for us.
Excellent. I'd just like to speak on that for a second.
Please.
You can use reverse Google imaging
Mm.
to identify certain plants. And if you have an iPhone, you can take a picture of a plant. As long as it's in focus, it will give you the option to look that plant up. At the very bottom, I have tons and tons of like plant photos, like this one rose here.
Look at that
At the
rose.
very at the very bottom, you can't see it, but at the very bottom, it has a little love heart and it has an eye, and above the eye, you get like a little something, and if you pull it up, it will get you to look up the plant. You just hit look up the plant. This is all native in our, and it just brings it up. Multiflora rose. You can select any of the images that it looks more closely associated to, and it sometimes having all the tools can be it can still be a little bit challenging, and I have found that to be the case, especially with Australian natives.
Mm.
But for the most part, I find the information that I need just using these very simple, free to me tools.
Hmm. We're very lucky these days with this. And this is the time to do all this kind of plant magic, right? So I've also gotten written down here garden magic or green magic, right? Just being outdoors, like weaving that magic in your yard if you have one, just outside your home, or even just going out. Like I think this is such a powerful time to connect with nature itself, and to get that energy in you, you know, that spirit in you. So be outside as much as possible. That's literally my last thing too. Get outside, especially during liminal times, dawn,
Mm.
dusk. Oh, like there's nothing more magical than being outdoors at those times. So, mm, especially at this time of year.
Mm. Just be careful, snakes. Be careful,
You have
spiders.
snakes. Yes.
Snakes, like, well, in Australia, you just have to be careful. Okay? Put your boots on, tap them first, that kind of stuff. It
That's
is the
it.
season to be, it is the season to be cautious, not jolly, but cautious. And this is also like, and okay, I'm trying not to make this sound like an alcoholic experience, okay? But the light half of the year in Australia brings about a libative period. So from this point onwards, we're soon going to start the cricket. Observers and watchers of the cricket sit in the crowds, smashing some beers. There is more outdoor activities and events happening. The waters warm up, the beaches open up a little bit more. It's a very libative, watery kind of time, despite the fact that energetically we align this time to fire.
Mm,
So it's almost like the marriage of masculine and feminine, the voracious nature, the hungry nature of fire with the soft, repetitive, receptive energies of water. So balancing both of those energies can be really great. I
mm,
am one that believes in ritual toasting, so I always have wine, I always have bubbly to toast. And because I'm Brazilian, anytime I open a beer, I have to offer some to my Orisha anyway. So I'll be out in the yard mowing and whippersnipping and doing these things, and then I will have a beer because I'm celebrating. And then I will walk and I'll drop a little beer on the earth and give it that libative kind of energy,
mm.
and just really start activating my space in a really active way. But alcohol for the ancestors, alcohol for myself, alcohol for the earth. Such a good time. You are going to find the bees come better. The birds are more around. When you start to leave offerings out in nature at this time of the year, you are going to notice it. If you have the opportunity to put a little bird feed out in a little bird feeder, you are going to notice the energy. Little birds, like in my area, you have goshawks, you have eagles, you have ravens, big, large forest ravens, you have fairy wrens and red robins, the odd cockatoo, and some owls. So if you leave bird feed out, you are going to notice the blessing of birds a lot more. And if you plant flowers that draw the bees, you are going to start to create this little microcosm of life and vibrancy around you that is so active and energizing and cleansing. It's part of the natural magic of the earth. So bring that, be deliberate with your planting, be deliberate with your gardening at this time of the year, because it will have an impact spiritually, magically, and that will weave itself into your witchcraft anyway. So it's such a vibe.
It's such a vibe. I love what you said about the water too. I almost feel like I wonder if this is maybe the difference we could talk about with our kind of light half of the year as opposed to the north, maybe, because we focus so much on water here, and because most of us live coastally, right, in this
Yeah,
country.
the 90% of the population lives around the coast.
That's right. So in obviously, let's say America, because that's our biggest northern hemisphere brother up there, but so many of them live in the center. So even when it's summer for them in that opposite season, they're probably not getting out to the water maybe quite as much as we do, or having it as much a part of their culture as we do. So I thought that was really interesting. I do feel that it's very much a fire, water kind of energy, this Beltane thing. And again, I think a little bit because for myself, I feel as if I'm just coming out of the darkness now, you know,
Mm.
hence that water fire there too. So Yes. I did
Yeah.
have I had another question for you actually. So for you guys who don't know, I assume you do because you're probably our podcast listeners, but Avalon has lived all around Australia, right? And actually elsewhere in the world also. So I was
Yes.
wondering if you could talk about some of the differences between Beltane in Tasmania and Beltane in Queensland and anywhere else that you've lived and experienced Beltane.
Oh, okay. Yep. Right. So in the Northern Territory, it's the Beltane fire. It's red desert. Everything is like the red, the orange colors are amplified. You can have fires there. I don't think you legally can, but it's so dry, it's so arid, and there are so many beaches. It's not, it's still very islandy, still very close to the water, but you feel this heavy presence of like heat settling in. It feels weighted, it feels masculine. In the far north of Australia, either up on the islands of the Torres Strait, it's all woman, it's all goddess, it's all water. There is this extremely feminine energy up there that I've never encountered anywhere ever. It feels so incredibly maiden in its energy up there. My coven up north and we used to do a lot of hiking. So we'd get together on the weekends and we would go and do these big hikes in these natural areas, always to find a waterfall, right? We were waterfall hunting. If you don't know, the beaches in far north, you can go into them and people do go into them. However, we have a lot of crocodiles in the ocean. So as a
Oh.
counterpoint to that, we have some of the most spectacular waterfalls and freshwater holes that you will ever see. You are always in water up there. Your skin is always bare. It's very sexy, it's very young, it's very youthful, it's very beautiful. So that's the energy up there. Down here in Tasmania, it's like old grandpa down here. The energy is more masculine. It feels this like ancient kind of energy. I feel the presence of masculine down here more than I do feminine. However, I do live in a valley, a very fruitful, robust, it's called a food bowl. Like where I live, it's actually called a food bowl. We grow so much fruit and food down here. It's such a fertile area. So I think I feel the patient presence of the mountains around me as masculine, but then the valley itself as a much more feminine, fertile experience. But
Hmm.
it feels more strongly lorded over by the masculine. In in central kind of Canberra ACT area there, um, it's a little measure of both. They are inland, not very close to the water there at all, and you do have this. It's almost like this business-like and experience, this business-like environment. So it feels very young God there. Like I feel
Hmm.
like that kind of think finance bro, like politician kind of vibe. And everything is very tailored to that. There's an undercurrent of like wild witchiness there. And there's lots of like, more yoga inspired places and spiritual retreat areas and things like that. Lots of cycling, lots of outdoor walking. It's a real fitness place and it flows really nicely. So
Hmm.
it's got a little bit of goddess, but mostly young god energy down there.
Hmm.
Um, and aside from that, Western Australia is all very, I would say, young god energy. You get a good sort of mix of like goddess and god energy there when you go and visit, but it comes down to the energy of the people itself. The people in Western Australia are very different to East Coasters, and you can definitely tell when somebody is a West Coaster. No shade to the West Coast, it's just a different energy and a different vibe. And so beautiful people in and of themselves, but they have that connection to the ocean that you see amplified by the power of 10 with the East Coast. And so it's almost like Western Australia is like on the opposite side of the world at
I literally,
times.
it's the opposite end of the continent, hey, and nothing in between also, so they are different.
Yeah, you've got this epic amount of like red desert, like central desert area. Central desert Alice Springs area there
Mm.
is incredibly feminine, despite
Interesting.
all,
I wouldn't have thought
despite.
that.
I know. I have
Mm.
driven the what do they call it? What's the what's the
The road?
highway? What's
I
the
don't remember
highway?
what the big old highway's called.
Oh my
Should
gosh.
do. Isn't that embarrassing?
Oh, the name has totally escaped me. But it's a 3-day event to drive this highway. It's a 3-day event. That's where people see UFOs. That's where people see all sorts of mythology come to life. Um, and so I've driven that so many times now in my life. And it's the highway itself is crone energy. You drive that highway and it's very, very,
Plenty? Is it Plenty Highway?
nope.
Oh, it's a different one. All right, never mind. That's all that's coming
Hang on,
up.
because it'll eat me up if I don't.
We're gonna figure this out for you guys. Oh, we've got a few people visiting Salem this year. We love that. We're going to be chatting about New Orleans very soon. We've had a friend go there, so we're going to be doing a podcast episode on that. Can't wait.
It's not the
Oh.
Pacific. Fuck. It's gonna annoy the shit out of me if I don't get it. The Nullarbor Plains.
Another bar. There we go. That is.
The Nullarbor is very, very crone. Very crone.
Oh, look,
Uh,
Tara, our lovely Tara Fallow already had it. He
nice.
knew.
That's the one. That's the one. Oh my gosh. Such a good vibe there, though. All the illegal shit happens there.
Mm, absolutely.
Gosh.
I like what you say about the young god energy. I'm like, oh, I feel like that's where I live too, is the young god energy, because it is like a the you know, COVID changed a lot of stuff. It boosted the prices in different areas and whatever. So where I live now is like crazy expensive. And so everyone that's moving in, it's right by the beach as well. So everyone like looks fabulous. And to buy a house here now in this generation is over $1 million. Like it's insane. So everyone's got all the money and the body and the everything, right? So I think young god energy is the way to think about that. Although of course I connect with the goddess in pockets as well, but I do feel that masculine vibe for sure.
Oh, we're talking New Orleans in the chat here.
Yes. I can't wait to have that conversation.
I know. So I was just saying to Rock and Robin that Alora has just come back from New Orleans
Mhm.
and she sent videos and photos of the vibe. She live called me, like she FaceTimed me while we were there. And just, she's like, you ready? She'd be on a corner of a cool place and she's like, then she would do the sweep like this. So I would get the feel. I'm just like, oh
Oh, even though we're talking about Beltane in the Southern Hemisphere, my God, we want to go to New Orleans.
oh my gosh, it looked so fun. It looked very Brazilian Mardi Gras, actually. It made me feel a little nostalgic for some home.
I bet.
But
Very,
absolutely
very.
beautiful. And I scored some goodies, so I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah. You'll have to do a show and tell when they arrive.
Oh my gosh. She walked into a traditional voodoo house and bought some Odisha, or in their case, the Loa, statues of Shango and oh,
Who'd you get?
Shango, and I can't remember what the last one was because my memory sucks today, apparently. Ah, okay. It'll come to me.
You
I
guys will
can't think.
find out. Actually, what I was just going to say to you, I just want to say why I remember, because we're talking about photo. Well, we're not talking about photos, but I'm thinking photos. You should take some photos of your Beltane setup and we'll share them afterwards on Instagram. And I'll do the same thing of my little space too. For everybody in
Oh
the chat that
yeah,
would like to see what we got going on,
that'd be
else
nice. I have to
wise.
keep eating my my incense here before I lose it.
Oh yeah, good one. Should we do cards now? Do we feel, have we
We
had a good
should.
Beltane discussion ready for some divination?
We should absolutely do cards because I don't know if you guys know, but I created a tarot deck and it's out now.
And you guys, it is the most glorious fucking deck that I've ever played with. I was telling
Look,
I was
so
telling Avalon, I feel like the deck was made for me, which 1,000% wasn't, but that's how connected. Like it's beautiful, the colors, the card stock, like it's the
the card stock
guidebook,
is
literally
butter.
everything. It all ticks. You know how normally, I don't know about normal. There's often a thing I feel that's lacking with decks. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, the guidebook, or oh, the card stock, or whatever. This hits it all. Hits it all.
Oh shit, I'm being so lazy with my shuffling right now.
Let me get some more incense going. If I have any.
The one thing that I will say is that when I received my deck, it was because it was packed tight. The cardstock is as it is. It's very matte, it's very soft, it's
Mm.
very buttery, it's gorgeous. It's still flexy, but it's not cheap, it's not nasty, it's not high gloss. It's
Perfect.
very what do you call it?
Very
Border.
practical to use, I would say. It's definitely a
Yeah.
reader's card deck. Like it's not just one of those ones you stick on the shelf forever. It's awesome.
Yeah. So all right, folks, I'm going to do it old school, right?
All right, what's the
Old school
plan?
spread this witch's style. If you would like a card reading, I'm going to need you to write your question in caps, all uppercase, so that we can differentiate it from the rest of the chat. It's just easier on the eyes for us and we can pick it out very quickly. Now, you can either leave it open-ended, but because this is a Beltane kind of live stream, creativity, love, sex, relationships, these are the themes that we are open to reading for
Mhm.
because they are in alignment.
Absolutely.
So, if you have some questions,
Let us know. And I'm wondering what to do. So I've got two oracle decks here that I'm working with. I've got the Beltane Seasons of a Witch and the Samhain Seasons of a Witch. Maybe we'll just see how we go, hey? We've only got a few people, I think. So
yeah,
we'll see, we'll see. So yeah, if you guys want a card, let us know. Oh, there we go.
relationship clarification. Oh, I got you, girl. I got you. I've shuffled amazingly.
Application for Ron Nectar. Valeria. Valeria needs to know about her relationship right now.
Good. Okay, here we go. For you, I can't even pronounce your name. Pronectar.
I think it's Valeria, written in the second, maybe.
Oh,
The second
Valeria.
comment there.
Okay. All right, so there's your lover's card in between. At the start, it's the Ace of Cups. This is representing a new love.
Mm.
It's not even a new cycle, a new iteration in a new love. It's representing either a need for a new love. And I say this because the Fool is behind the Lover's card. So
Mm.
this is a bit of a leap of faith. This is a bit of a something fresh, something new, something brand new. So I don't know how that's going to how that's going to work for you in a relationship reading, but it could represent walking away from your current relationship, which I hate to say, but it could represent removing the block of your current relationship so that a new, fresh romance can come through. Or it could just mean if you're single or you're in a situationship right now, it's not it. It's not it for you. Okay. This is brand new, fresh. The ace represents the quintessence of the element of water, brand new essence at its core. It's the seed of potential, the seed. And so, in order to water and nourish and feed that seed so that it can grow effectively, you need to take that leap of faith. And this is like journey into the unknown kind of vibe. So there you have it. And what have you
Amazing.
got? What have you got?
So, Valeria, this is just a total confirmation, right? You got the Sacred Waters card. See
Ooh.
that there. So this card says to you, drunken by the swell of the sea, I can feel the blanket of her embrace. Unafraid of the presence releasing the cords, I call her in. I call her deeply within. So I'm feeling this like love renewal here for you. So like a cleansing of what is, and a focusing on what it is that you want, right? So there might be a temptation to hold on to what is the way it is, but it seems the cards are really saying to you, like, put out there what it is that you want, like go towards what it is that you truly want, the love that you truly want. And even if you're not going to do that in physicality just yet, do that within, do that for yourself, right? To get that mind alignment with what you want, right? Because where you're moving right now, it's not it. But there's a renewal here. And like amazingness to come from that. I think through this reading we can see that with the water cards and the Fool, right? So that's really exciting. So there's absolutely a renewal in your love life.
All right. So
Mm.
we have new beginnings.
Oh, Rockin' Robin.
Rock and
Okay.
Robin. Okay, let's pull.
Let's see. Let's see.
Oh, oh, brutal. Oh, love it. I love it. Okay. I'm pulling three cards. So bad end to a bad situation. So we've got the 10 of Swords. This is the end of a cycle. This is a very mentally draining, very mentally stressful, very high cortisol activated in the body, sleepless, stressful. You get the vibe, right? And and sometimes that can be a bad end. But what I like about this card is that it's a fucking end no, nonetheless. It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be bad, it just needs to be over. And this is a stark reminder that please don't people please
Mm.
your way out of this situation. You need to get out of this situation. And so sometimes it's laying down harsh boundaries, cutting some relationships, trimming the fat, and moving forward in a way that is more authentic to who you are. Then you have the Knight of Swords, which is movement, flow, new perspective. This is fresh, new perspective. This card, the Knight of Swords, doesn't enter into any kind of situation, agreement, contract, or situation with anyone unless they have done their due diligence. And this is about running around and dotting the I's and crossing the T's and really looking at things from a multitude of angles so that you can ensure that you are perceiving everything as it needs to be perceived. This is very go-getter energy. This is very fresh. This is very vibrant. This is very confident kind of energy. It's like, this has got, if I was to say something about this card, it would be fuck this shit. I'm getting on my horse. I'm finding what I need and I'm going after it right now. So, and then you've got the Magician. Hi, Dad. And this one here is about manifesting. I hate that word so much.
Do
I hate
ya?
it.
Oh my God, I
I
use it
hate
all the
it.
time.
I know. It's impossible to sort of like, you need to get down and do some good old-fashioned magic and spellcraft to align things to you specifically. This is a great time to literally magic into being what you want. I tried really hard not to say manifest then.
Well done.
That's your new beginning, new beginning vibes.
Amazing. I love this. I love pulling because I'm pulling cards right before you start talking, and then just to see the confirmation is like so fucking cool, right? I love divination. All right. So your first card from the Samhain Seasons of a Witch Oracle is the Coming of Winter, right? So there's this little, you're talking about new beginnings, this little endings here, right? So removing, saying goodbye to, ending what is no longer serving. It feels like there's some things that need to be put to sleep, right? So maybe there's this energy of like trying to move ahead, but you've still got a bunch of skeletons like hanging on to you. You know what I mean? So clear, cleanse off, get that gone. Don't have that holding on to you anymore. Understand that you are coming into a season where it is time to say goodbye to some things, right? But only for the good, only for the space that it's actually going to create for you. Your other card from the Beltane deck is Earth Worship.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So this to me really speaks of that manifesting, right? What are you bringing into the world? What is it that you want to see bloom into your life? And then I think this is just a deeper message to, as we've already kind of spoken about. I know you're in Samhain, but connect with earth energy where you can, right? I know you're coming into winter, so I'm not sure what your locale is like, if everything freezes or not, but I think the earth is really calling to you here. So this is something you could do as more of a visual kind of magic throughout the season of winter if you wanted to, that manifesting with the earth, right? Because I think there's going to be some really beautiful things blooming for you. We've just got to create a little bit of space first.
Mm, I like that. We need to find direction here for Terra
Okay,
Fallow. New direction.
Terra.
All right. Oh, giving it a good zhuzhing.
Yes. We've got one more after that too. If anyone else has any questions that you'd like us to answer with the tarot and, well, Oracle and tarot, let us know.
Oh my God, I
What'd
love
she
this one for
get?
you. I
Oh,
love this one.
Tara.
If these were my cards, I'd be stoked. Absolutely stoked. Okay, first of all, we got the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is about mastery. It's about refinement. It's about repetitive tasks done over and over again to refine the process into which it is both intuitive and natural to the person. Okay, so this is about getting into it. So whatever it is, you're going to need to commit. This is long term. Earth is years, okay? This is a long-term process. So think very carefully. Think very carefully, but don't take too long because you have the Ace of Wands. So this is again the quintessence of the element. This is the seed. This is the seed. And the instruction for this seed is the Seven of Wands. So you have to go where you can find it and get it. That is the message. And then once you get it, you need to commit to it, wholeheartedly commit to it in a way that includes this loyalty and longevity aspect. This is the long haul, but it has this energy of creativity, of fire, of passion to it. So commit to the passion of it. Commit to the thing that sets your heart on fire. Fire can also represent enterprise, business. So it could be committing to a business idea, to a business plan, but most often it's a very creative, passionate pursuit, and it can lean heavily into the arts. And but there's also a lot of energy to fire, so it could be athleticism as well.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So I think the cards that I got for you, Tara, are telling you how to get to the place that Avalon is talking about. So we've got Greet the Darkness, okay, and Self-Worship. So what I'm getting from these two cards together is shadow work, is that inner work, right? Doing all of your due diligence internally. I think there is internal discovery that's needed right now. So you've got this amazing kind of promise of what is to be. And I think to get there, it's an internal journey, right? So that direction first is within. Go within. Now, greet the darkness. This really speaks to me of the shadow work aspect, right? So all of those things within yourself that you're avoiding, that you don't want to look at, that are ugly, that are horrible, that feel bad, that's all the shadow work stuff, right? But we're moving into the self-worship, right? So this is about integration and not just pulling all of this stuff up to have it sit there, but actually to bring healing and to bring I want to say, like, to know, it's like a wisdom to see within yourself what it is that you truly want, to move some of that stuff that's blocking you away, right? Those shadows, dealing with those shadows, accepting those shadows, integrating those shadows, and then pouring into yourself, right? And I think a lot of people maybe miss this step. I think a lot of people don't like themselves much or really struggle with self-esteem and things like that. Maybe you're one of those people as well. And I feel like what's needed for this journey, right, for this new direction that you're headed in, is for you to fill yourself up. And actually, what's coming to mind is not that you have to be celibate, but what Avalon spoke about earlier, right? Like really like feeding into yourself with all of that love magic. I think that is something that you need. And from that space, you are then at a foundation, right? You are then at zero, at the full. You're not lacking anything anymore. You're at zero. And then Avalon's reading, right? That's how I feel.
Mm. And also therapy is good. I'm pro
Therapy's
therapy.
amazing.
I've had so much therapy in my life. I think that's why I'm so at peace within myself. But
Mm.
whenever I feel something sticky come up, I have my coping mechanisms that I have harvested from all of my different therapy sessions with
Yeah.
different therapists over the years. And again, Kelly Brogan's work, she is a therapist. She used to have a very thriving business in New York. And now she does therapy for the woman, unshackled from mainstream medical rhetoric. It's so good.
Mm.
It's so kind of, it's wild, it's rebellious, and it's nourishing to the human spirit. So especially woman geared.
Love it.
So
That's
if you
awesome.
identify, go in that direction.
And I think that's really what it's about, isn't it? It's about gathering the tools because at different times, different tools work for you and at other times they don't. And so seeing therapists and reading books and all this is like you just get more tools that you can use, find the things that work for you.
That's the vibe. All right, who's next?
We've only got one left. So if anyone else is in the chat and hasn't had a reading yet, please pop your question in there for us and we will get to you.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Gemini
All
Sky.
right, so we've got creativity feels stuck when it comes to my practice.
Mm.
Rightio. Oh my gosh. Okay. I, where are you located, Gemini Sky 06? Are you Southern Hemisphere or Northern Hemisphere?
It's a good question.
I'm very curious.
Oh, you're very welcome, Tara. Yep, getting back in touch with the psychologist. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, that's the way. I do love me therapy. I'm very pro therapy. I tell everyone to go to therapy. And I heard this, I've got my cards here, but I heard this incredible quote the other day, and it was
Ah, Southern.
Sunday.
Nice.
And it was the people that need to go to therapy don't go to therapy. Their victims do.
Mm.
Have you ever met those people that are totally resistant to therapy?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
see
And they're
it. Oh, I'm
literally
not going to
like
do it.
turning the
I
world
benefit from
taking.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. So
Yeah.
be pro therapy. All right. So, Gemini, you're going to need to connect with the Morrigan. Now, independent of the bone stone, this is the Morrigan in the bone stone. This is the Queen of Swords. So we're talking about a teacher in her feminine. This doesn't mean male or female. This means a teacher in her feminine, in her receptive, in her intuitive, in her empathetic. So a teacher in her feminine. This is such a great teacher card. They are very knowledgeable, very acutely mentally activated. So you might need a teacher to get yourself through this, a mentor of some description, a source of inspiration. It could be you find a channel on YouTube. It could be you meet someone in person. It could be you go to an art therapist. It could be any number of things, right? Any number of things. But the teacher, the mentor, the guide component is very, very strong there.
Mhm.
Then you have the Two of Pentacles. And this is about balancing contracts. So there's probably something inside of you that feels that if you're going to be creative, that you're going to neglect something else, or you don't know how to hold your creative genius alongside something else. So if you're neurodivergent or you're anything like me, I struggle in remembering that I have other commitments. When I find that I found a project that I love, that I'm really excited about, I have to remind myself that I have all these other projects to consider as well. And this is the card that I use as a reminder. So if that comes up, I know that I need to sit there and I need to balance all my responsibilities and make sure that I've got everything scheduled and make sure that I've got everything locked in place in a way that is kind to me as a person, but also functional to the rest of those people that are needing my energy. And then we've got the Eight of Wands. Now, I have been socially conditioned by the Sacred Circle Tarot back when I was 19. This card means love. Because of that deck, this card means love. But what it means is pure, undiluted action. You need to be prepared to take action and color outside the lines. You need to push aside your judgment. You need to push aside your confused mind. And you need to get a pen and paper and just word vomit intuitively, like stream of consciousness, right? Like think the word creativity, or better yet, think, where is the fire in my life? And then start writing and really purge, cry, shout, scream, burn some incense, have a sacred bath, all of those types of things. This is like you need to shed some skin here. Think snake, think shedding of skin, think reemergence, rebirth kind of energy here. But working with the Morrigan typically means shadow work. And working with a teacher usually means
Yeah.
relinquishing control of your learning and letting somebody lead you. So again, your cards.
Yeah. Yes, well, I can definitely second that about the Morrigan. This is her altar right back here. And we've had quite the journey together. Just another confirmation for you, love. You got that same card we pulled last time, Greet the Darkness. So this is the shadow work card. All right. So just reiterating that, absolutely do your shadow work. Now, this is a little bit of Beltane magic for you, my darling. I think you need to do a little bit of sex magic. This is the
Mm,
orgasm card. So you
vibe.
could do partnered sex magic or you can do solo sex magic. And I do feel this is more of a solo, but again, it's totally up to you. So again, once you kind of have done your shadow work, right, poured out that journal prompt, where is the fire in my life? Whatever you come to know through that, you can manifest or magic for, right, through that sex magic. So I think that's going to be really, really powerful for you. All right,
Mm,
that's all we have. Is there anyone else? Your last chance. If you have a question for us, this is the time.
exactly. And for those who are wanting to sort of activate the sacral right now, I recommend hot food, spicy hot food, a carnelian,
Mm.
a good deep red. I've got one right here. Hang on.
Oh, holy shit. Is it really? Tara Fallow said, your tarot deck is available at Big W?
It is.
Oh my God. That is so cool.
It's available everywhere right now. Well, in Australia, that is. Yeah, I saw that the other day and I said, I was down at Big W, so it wasn't at my Big W. And it hasn't yet made its way into shops here in Tasmania, but
I've
I'm like,
overcome. Kaz, I've
I'm
overcome.
waiting for it. So this is like the nice piece of carnelian.
Mm.
So a nice piece of carnelian, hold it, meditate with it, masturbate with it if you must. Put it on your sacral. Put it on your sacral chakra. Listen to the vibes, to the attuned music of your sacral chakra. And move and dance. Make it a tribal experience. Have a drum if you need to. Like, get really tribal. Move your body. Exercise, stretch. I don't care what your situation is. Dance. Put some sexy, sexy music on. R&B with that heavy drum, that heavy beat, that heavy
Oh
bass
yeah.
is really, really super duper sexy for this time of the year as well. So get amongst it. Get amongst it. And like it's almost like shaking off the debris of the dark half of the year and really immersing yourself deeply into the experience of light and connecting with the body and connecting with the self and connecting with the authenticity with that vibrant flame inside of you. It's okay. In one term, it's find your sexy. There you go.
I love that.
Mm.
Find your sexy. Oh, I've recovered again. I literally was so overcome. You know how sometimes when you cleanse and then like the smoke gets in your throat and you're like, oh God, am I the evil? That just happened. I'm like, we're okay now. I've been exercised.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Um, Also, folks, just in case, you may as well be the first people to know because, at this time of Beltane, of this time of launching creative projects, my beautiful bestie, Alora Rain, and I have invited Owlvine to participate in the revival of a project that has rested for 8 years. Now, either you know or you don't know, but we used to host this incredible kind of collaborative experience called Spread This Witches. And we are bringing it back. We're bringing back
Yay.
Spread This Witches, and Alvine is going to be our third host. So that's what's happening.
Very exciting. So if you guys don't know, this is a divination show. So
Yes, this
all
is
about
witchcraft,
divination.
magic, divination, esotericism. So in the past, we've hosted some incredible, incredible authors and creators in the field of tarot, in the field of astrology, on crystal healing, on rune systems and spirit work and all sorts of things. So it's amazing. It's a really great energy there. And it's very unbridled and very authentic. So
It's gonna be so fun. I can't wait.
such a vibe, such a vibe. All right, folks. Well, we have hit that mark.
Oh, thank you
Me
so
too,
much for
Gemini.
being with us, you guys. It was so fun.
It has been so lovely. We are going to, just so that you guys know as well, our intention moving forward for the
Mm.
podcast is that we do a live stream, much like this one, at every major Sabbath. And when I say major Sabbath, the whole wheel of eight. Okay, we are going to try to commit to that. Obviously, it depends what's going on each person's side of the coin there, and but it's exciting to
Yeah.
gather. We thought that we would gather early rather than the day of, and and because of that, it gives you time to implement what we've discussed and see where that takes you for that beautiful Beltane Samhain cross-quarter season. So you've got time now. You've got lots of time to like put that into practice. You've got essentially 8 days.
That's right. Yeah. So the 8th is the astrological date this year. And please share with us what you're doing on Instagram. You can tag the Broken Pentacle. We'll come over and have a look. We would love to see what you guys are up to.
And if you're more TikTok inspired,
Yep.
we also
Exactly.
have, it bears mentioning as well, we have all of our show notes for all of the episodes on our Broken Pentacle Substack. So if you're interested, so any recipes that we've shared, Alvine has a tendency of sharing recipes and poems and beautiful things like that. So they will all be listed in our Substack posts associated with each episode. So We're everywhere now, folks.
Ah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We are indeed. Thank you so much for celebrating all the things with us, Beltane, Halloween, Samhain. We hope you've
Exactly.
enjoyed this and hearing a bit more about the Australian perspective, at least. And
Yeah.
yeah, keep an eye out on Instagram. We're going to share some photos after this of what we got going on behind the scenes. And we'll see you guys next time, I guess.